In this lesson, you're going to learn about headings. Headings can be extremely useful in describing the structure of a document. They can also have some drawbacks, and we'll talk about that and cover some ways that you can mitigate those drawbacks and keep the usefulness. Open your examples folder, and inside of that, the text folder, and bring up the headings.html file in your text editor and also in your browser. Notice here in the document the use of the headings. This document uses 3 levels of headings, H1, H2, and H3. Headings are containers, they're block level, and there are 6 levels of headings defined in the language. This document uses 3 of them. Taking a look at the document in the browser, the first thing that I notice is that the headings are, unattractive. Fortunately, that can be corrected using style sheets. The nice thing about headings, though, is that by having them set off in their own containers, in their own block-level containers like this, it's easy for an automated system, like a search engine like Google, or a document indexing engine, or something like that, to understand a little bit about the structure and the meaning and content of a document. For example, if this document was indexed by Google, Google would say, this document is about headings and structures and subject, and it would perhaps index it under those keywords, maybe give those keywords more weight in the document. It could even weight them by their relative importance using the different levels of headings. So headings can be extremely useful. They're also useful in that selectors in CSS style sheets can give different style to the different levels of structure and actually make the document more beautiful. We'll cover CSS in more detail in a later lesson, but for now, let me just show you what you can do. Here in the head of the document, I'm going to put in a style sheet. Like I said, style sheets are covered in more detail later on, but this will just show you. And just for the H1, H2, and H3 elements, I'm going to give them a different font. The Verdana font is nice for headings. And then while I'm at it, I might as well give the paragraphs a prettier font. Georgia. Save the document. And what this will do is it'll change the fonts for all the H1, H2, and H3 elements to Verdana, and for the paragraph elements to Georgia. Let's bring this up and reload in the browser. And there we go. Now, right off the bat, that's a more attractive document. We've got a nice sans serif font for the headings, and a more readable font, I think. The Georgia font is more readable than the Times Roman font that's the default. So there you have it. Again, style sheets are covered in more detail later on, and there's also a whole other course on style sheets available from lynda.com. So the headings can be very useful without sacrificing the visual attractiveness of your documents.